ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम, ओम साई राम। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु साई करुणानंद महाराज की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद सदगुरु जगत गुरु बाल योगीराज साई नारायण महाराज की जय। साई लीलावती माता की जय। श्री साई सचरित्र चैप्टर 28। Sparrows drawn to Shirdi, Lakshmi Chand, Burhanpur Lady Megha. Preliminary. Sai is not finite or limited. He dwells in all beings, from ants and insects to the god Brahma. He pervades all. Sai was well versed in the knowledge of the Vedas as well as in the science of self realization. As he was proficient in both these, he was well fitted to be Sadguru. Anyone thought, though learned but not able to awaken the disciples and establish them in self realization, does not deserve to be called a Sadguru. Generally, the worldly parents give birth to the body, but the death invariably follows life. But Sadguru does away with both life and death, and so he is more kind and merciful than anybody. Sai Baba often said that let his man devotee be at any distance, 1,000 kos away from him, he will be drawn to Shirdi like a sparrow with a thread tied to his feet. This chapter describes the stories of three such sparrows. Lala Lakshmi Chand. This gentleman was first serving in the Shri Venkateshwar Press in Mumbai, then in our railway department, and afterwards in the firm of Messrs. Raleigh Brothers and Company as a Munshi clerk. He got the contact of Baba in 1910. One or 2 months before Christmas, he saw in his dreams at Santa Cruz, a suburb of Mumbai, an old man with a beard standing and surrounded by his bhaktas. A few days later, he went to the house of his friend Mr. Dattatreya Manjunath Vijur to hear the Kirtana by Das Ganu. It was and is always the practice of Das Ganu to keep Baba's picture in front of the audience while doing the Kirtana. Lakshmi Chand was surprised to see that the feature of the old man he saw in his dream tallied exactly with those in the picture. And thus he came to the conclusion that the old man he saw in his dream was Sai Baba himself. The sight of his picture, Dasganu's Kirtan, and the life of the Sant Tukaram, on which Dasganu discoursed on all these things, made a deep impression on his mind, and he decided to go to Shirdi. It always the experience of the Bhaktas that God always helps them in their search for Sadguru and other spiritual endeavors. That very night, a friend named Shankar Rao knocked at his door and asked him whether he would accompany him to Shirdi. His joy knew no bounds, and he at once decided to go to Shirdi. He borrowed rupees 15 from his cousin, and after making due preparations, left for Shirdi. In the train, he and his friend Shankar Rao did some bhajans, sang religious songs, and inquired about Sai Baba with some fellow passengers, 4 Marian, who were returning to their place near Shirdi. They all told them that Sai Baba was a great son living in Shirdi for many years. When they reached Kopargaon, he wanted to buy some good guas for offering to Baba. But he was so much enwrapped with the scenery and sights that he forgot to purchase them. When they were nearing Shirdi, he was reminded of the guas. Just then, he saw an old woman with a gua basket on her head running after the Tonga. The Tonga was stopped, and he gladly purchased some fruits when the woman said, "Take all the rest and offer them on my behalf to Baba." The fact was that he had intended to purchase guavas but had forgotten to do so. The old woman encountered in her devotion to Baba. All these were a pleasant surprise to both the friends, and Lakshmi Chand thought in his mind that the old woman might be some relation to the old man he saw in his dream. Then they drove on and came near Shirdi, and on seeing flags on the masjid, they saluted them. With puja materials in hand, they went to the masjid and worshipped Baba with the due formality. Lakshmi Chand was much moved and was extremely happy to see Baba. He was enwrapped with Baba's feet and as a bee with a sweet smiling lotus. Then Baba spoke as follows: "Cunning fellow, he does bhajan on the way and inquiries from others. Why ask others everything we should see with our own eyes? Where is the necessity to question others? Just think for yourself whether your dream is true or not. Where was the necessity of the darshan by taking a loan from a Marwari? Was the heart's desire not satisfied? Hearing these words, Lakshmichand was thunderstruck at Baba's omniscience. He was at a loss to know how to Baba came to know about all the things that had happened en route from his house to Shirdi. The chief thing to note is this respect is that Baba never liked people to borrow or take loan for his darshan on celebrating any holiday or making any pilgrimage. Sansa. At noon, when Lakshmi Chand was sitting for meals, he got some sansa wheat pudding from a devotee as a prasad. He was pleased to have it. Next day also he expected it, but now got nothing. So he was anxious to get it again. Then on the third day at a noon, Aarti time, Babu Sahib Jog asked Baba what Naivedya he should bring. Baba told him to bring sansa. Then the Bhaktas brought two big potfuls of sansa. Lakshmi Chand was very hungry, and there was some pain in his back. Then Baba said to him, "It is good to that you are hungry. Take sansa and some medicine for the pain in the back." He was again wonderstruck to see that Baba again read his mind and spoke out what the passing therein, how omniscient he was. Evil Eye. During the visit, Lakshmi Chand, was witnessed one night the procession of the Chavadi. Baba then suffered much from cough. He thought that the suffering of Baba might be due to somebody's evil eye. Next morning, when he went to the masjid, Baba spoke to Shama as follows: "I suffered last night from cough. Is it due to some evil eye? I think that somebody's evil eye has worked on me and I'm suffering." In this case, Baba spoke out what was passing in the Lakshmi Chand's mind. On seeing these proofs of Baba's omniscience and kindness of his bhaktas, he fell prostrate at Baba's feet and said, "I am much blessed with your darshan. Ever be kind and merciful to me and protect me always. There is no other God to me in this world except you. Let my mind be ever wrapped in your bhajan and feed. Let your grace protect me and from the miseries of the world, and let me ever chant your name and be happy." After getting Baba's Udi and blessing, he returned home with his friend, much pleased and contented, and was singing Baba's glory on the way. He remained a staunch devotee of Baba afterwards and always sent garlands of flowers, camphor, and dakshina with any person of his acquaintance bound for Shirdi. Burhanpur lady. Now let us turn to another sparrow devotee. One lady in Burhanpur saw in her dream Sai Baba coming to her door and begging khichdi, rice cooked with dal and salt, and for his meals. On waking up, she saw nobody at her door. However, she was pleased with the vision and told it to all, including her husband. He was employed in the postal department when he was transferred to Akola with both husband and wife, who were devout persons, decided to go to Shirdi. Then on a suitable day, they left for Shirdi, and after visiting Gomati Treat on the way, reached Shirdi and stayed there for 2 months. Every day they went to the masjid, performed Baba's worship, and passed their time happily. The couple came to Shirdi to offer khichdi as a naivedya, but for the first 14 days, somehow or other, it could not be offered. The lady did not like this delay or a tardiness. Then on 15th day, she came at noon to the masjid with her khichdi. There she found that the Baba and others were already sitting for the meals and that the curtain was down. Nobody dared enter in when the curtain was down, but the lady could not wait. She lifted up the curtain and entered. Strange to say that Baba seemed that they hungry for khichdi and wanted that thing first. And when the lady came in with the dish, Baba was delighted and began to eat morsel after morsel of khichdi. On seeing the earnest of the Baba in this respect, everybody was wonderstruck, and those who heard the story of the khichdi were convinced about his extraordinary love for his devotees. Megha. Now let us go to the third sparrow, Megha of Viram Gaon. Was a simple and illiterate Brahmin cook of Rao Bahadur H.V. Sathe. He was a devotee of Shiva and always chanted his 5-syllabled mantra Namah Shiva. He did not know the Sandhya nor its chief mantra, the Gayatri. Rao Bahadur Sathe was interested in him, taught him the Sandhya and the Gayatri. Sathe told him that Sai Baba Shirdi was the embodied form of a god Shiva and made him start with Shirdi. At the railway station, Bharuch railway station, he learned that Sai Baba was a Muslim and his simple and orthodox mind was much perturbed at the prospect of going down to the Muslim, and he prayed to his master not to send him out there. His master, however, insisted on his going there and gave him a letter of introduction to his Sate's father-in-law, Ganesh Damodar alias Dada Kelkar, at Shirdi. To introduce him to the Sai Baba, when he reached Shirdi and went to the masjid, Baba was very indignant and would not allow him to enter. Kick out the rascal, roared Baba, and then said to Megha, "You are a high caste Brahmin and I am a low Muslim. You will lose your caste by coming here. Just get away." On hearing these words, Megha began to tremble. He was wondering as how Baba had come to know about what was passing in his mind. He stayed there for some days, serving Baba in his own way, but was not convinced. Then he went home and then to the Triambak, Nasik district, and stayed there for a year and a half. Then again he returned to the Shirdi. This time at the intercession of Dada Kelkar, he was allowed to enter the masjid and stay in Shirdi. Sai Baba's help to Megha was not thorough any oral instruction. He worked upon Megha mentally, with the result that he was considerably changed and benefited, and Megha began to look upon Sai Baba as an incarnation of Shiva. In order to worship Shiva, bay leaves are required, and Megha used to go miles and miles every day to bring them and worship his Shiva Baba. His practice was to worship all the deities in the village and then come to the masjid. And after saluting Baba Gaddi, Asana, he worshipped Baba, and after doing some service shampooing his legs, drying the washing street of Sai Baba's feet. Once it so happened that he came to the masjid without worshipping Khandoba, as the door of the temple was closed. Baba did not accept his worship and sent him again, saying that the door was open then. Megha went, found the door open, worshipped the deity, and then returned to Baba as usual. Ganges bath. On one Makar Sankranti day, Megha wanted to besmear the body of Baba with the sandal paste and bath him with Ganges water. Baba was first unwilling to undergo this, but at his repeated request, he consented. Megha had to traverse a distance of 8 kos, going and returning, to bring the sacred water from the Gomanti river. He brought the water, made all preparations for the bath at noon, and asked Baba to get ready for the same. Then Baba again asked him to be spared from his bath, saying that as a fakir, he had nothing to do with the Ganges water. But Megha did not listen to him. He knew that Shiva is pleased with the Abhishek, sacred bath, on that auspicious day. Baba then consented, then came down and sat on the wooden board, and projecting his head said, "Oh Megha, do at least this favor. Head is the most important organ of the body. So pour the water over there only. It is equivalent to the whole bath." "All right," said Megha, and lifting the water pot up, began to pour it on the head. But in doing this, he was so much overwhelmed with love, and he cried out, "Har Har Gange, hail goddess Ganga," and emptied the pot on the whole body. He kept the pot aside and began to look at the Baba, but to his surprise and amazement, he found that only Baba's head was drenched, while the whole body quite dry, trident and pindi. Megha worshipped Baba at two places. In the masjid, he worshipped Baba in person, and in the Wada, Baba's big picture given by Nana Sahib Chandorkar. This he did for 12 months. Then, in order to appreciate his devotion and confirm his faith, Baba gave him a vision. One morning, when Baba was still lying down on his bed, with eyes closed but internally awake, he saw clearly Baba's form. Baba, knowing him to be awake, threw akshara, rice grains marked red with kumkum, and said, "Megha, draw trident," and disappeared. Hearing Baba's words, he eagerly opened his eyes. Saw no Baba there, but only rice grains spread here and there. He then went to Baba, told him about the vision and asked permission to draw trident. Baba said, "Did you not hear my words asking you to draw trident?" It was it was no vision but direct order. My words are always pregnant with meaning and never hollow. Megha said, "I thought you woke me up, but all the doors were closed, so I was doubtful. Thought it to be vision." Baba rejoined, "I require no door to enter. I have no form. I always live everywhere. As a wire puller, I carry on all the actions of the man who trusts me and emerges in me." Megha returned to the Vada and drew a red trident on the wall near Baba's picture. Next year, Ramdasi Bhakta came from Pune, saluted Baba and offered him a pindi, a phallic image of Shiva. At this time, Megha also turned up there. Megha said to him, "See, Shankar has come, protect, worship him now." Megha was pleasantly surprised to see Pindi. Also in the Vada, Kakasaheb Dikshit was standing with a towel on his head after having taken his bath and was remembering Sai when he saw a Pindi before his mental vision. While he was wondering about this, Megha came and showed him the Pindi presented to him by Baba. Dikshit was happy to know that this Pindi exactly tallied with the one he saw a few minutes before in his vision. In a few days after the drawing of the trident was complete, Baba installed a pindi near the big picture, which Megha was worshipping. The worship of the Shiva was dear to Megha, and by the drawing of the trident and the installation of the pindi, Baba confirmed his faith therein. After continuous service of Baba for many years, doing regular worship and arti every noon and evening, Megha passed away in 1912. Then Baba passed his hands over his mortal remains and said, "This was a true devotee of mine." Baba also ordered that at his own expense the funeral dinner should be given to the Brahmins, and this order was carried out by Kakasaheb Dikshit. Both to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sri Satchidananda Sadguru Sai Nath Maharaj ki jai. Sri Satchidananda Sadguru Sai Karnananda Maharaj ki jai. Sri Satchidananda Sadguru Jagat Guru Bal Yogiraj Sai Nara Maharaj ki jai. Sai Leelavati Mata ki jai. Om Sai Ram.